Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on, of course, help understand best practice, big picture, and obviously how low can this go? So the limbo for Bitcoin is getting pretty narrow. that little range we need to look at and kind of see what's going on. So if you are new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I do love teaching people to trade. However, been trading for a very long time, over 16 years now. It's kind of crazy to think. But more importantly, I have a trading academy, community, and signal group if you'd like to become a better trader. CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. Now, before we take a look here at this, something I wanted to kind of mention, and we talked about this yesterday, so if you did miss that, here's a quick recap. Just jumping right in here as far as previous support levels. In other words, we identified basically that 19,800 was the all-time high from 2017. That being an all-time high creates a nice strong support area, level, zone, whatever you want to call it. So if we see here on the price action, the price almost came down and wicked down to that level. So really close to it. So that kind of reiterates the fact that it should and could work as a support level moving forward. However, if we do lose that, the important thing to recognize is that we could come all the way down as low as 14,000, possibly even 12,500. Potentially lower if we can bridge that gap when we get there, but generally speaking, these are key levels that were previous supports and or resistances in the past, and it's important to acknowledge the fact that we do lose 19.8. I don't necessarily think it would be a free fall because there is a decent amount of volume in this area, but on the same accord, 14,000 would probably be the likely bottom if we were to lose 19.8. Okay, so 20,000 gone, 14,000 is the next target. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Anyways, those are just kind of worst case scenarios. I kind of covered that yesterday. Extreme worst case, just so you understand. Now, taking a look at where we're at right now. So far, so good. Keep in mind we have lower volume the last 3 trading days. Of course, that's going to dissipate and taper off as the price action starts to level. So kind of standard stuff there, but good news is we're building more volume at the current price point, which may not seem like a lot if you compare that to the previous. But if you look at the most recent time frames here, you can see we've got the most amount of volume here in the last week. Obviously, that kind of goes without saying, but it's important to recognize that we have an increased amount of volume at this price point. Tells us that there's more buying pressure instead of just selling pressure. And this CME gap that I touched on yesterday as well, it's been filled. So in other words, that gap between 24 and 28,000 was filled. Therefore, we can count 24,000 as a strong resistance and potential support if we can break back up above it. So again, that's just kind of where we're at there in that sense. And if we look at the monthly, nothing really has changed here. We're testing the 50 on the moving average here, the 50-day simple moving average on the monthly. We're also below, well below, by the way, we're well below 50 on the RSI. This has only happened one time in the recent past. And what that was roughly 4 years ago, coincidentally, December 2017. And that was really close to, the price came really close to that moving average. Right now it's a little exaggerated. It came below that based on the simple fact that there's a lot of craziness in the news. There was inflation, that whole 9 yards, up 0.75%. There's a lot that's factoring in here. So the monthly is telling us the same story it has for a while now, that we're diverging, so to speak, but we should and could likely hold at this level. Okay, no guarantees, but I would say that the bottom is close. And if we do end up losing, once again, 20,000 or 19,800, then we can expect perhaps a little bit lower of a price point. But for now, I think we should kind of expect the fact that the price should be range bound between 20 and 24,000. And that's probably the most important thing to kind of pay attention to for the moment, because it just kind of how it feels so far. We're below both these moving averages here, and we did lose a 200 on the weekly. So that's, again, disadvantageous, being under 30 on the RSI as well. We've only done that one time before, and that one time was coincidentally right back in December of 2017. So again, a lot of little 4-year type of situations are happening. I know it's more like, 4.5 years, but it's still pretty close, right? There's this cyclical nature of Bitcoin where it just has these parabolic runs and these significant decreases. We're on the significant decrease side, but we're likely hitting the bottom based on the previous all-time high working as a support. Once again, 19,800. All right, so looking at the 1 day, we're below 30 on the RSI as well here also. And as I acknowledged previously, we will probably stay under that for some time. I would say another couple of days perhaps, but the bottom line here is that until we can get back up above 23 and or 24,000, we'll be stuck under that range for a while. The key is for us to start making higher lows and higher highs, preferably on the daily, but more importantly, we want to start seeing that printed on the 4-hour. It's too early to tell with yesterday being, the Fed meeting and a lot of I wouldn't say nonsensical. It makes sense as to how crazy and sporadic it gets, but the price action was pretty extreme for a moment when that conference was happening. So it's pretty standard par for the course. It pushed up to 23,000, down to 21. Now we're kind of range bound between 21 and 23, or just a wide range of 20 to 24. So taking a look at the smaller time frames, let's go ahead and see here. First of all, we got rejected pretty hard off the 20-day SMA on the 4-hour. That's pretty standard. That has been happening multiple times in the past. I'm not surprised to see that. What would be great is to break above that and to hold above, because what that would do is that would give us higher lows, and that'd be important to be able to continue to print that. So again, higher lows on the 4-hour to me is extremely important, but we can see this strong resistance shelf right at 23,000. When the price comes up, gets rejected. It's done that twice now already. So if we can just kind of squeeze ourselves into this little wedge pattern, potentially break to the upside, we'll be in much better shape. But just keep in mind, if we were to break to the upside, just say we break 24,000 today, tomorrow, whenever, try not to get ahead of yourselves and think that we're back in the clear. We've still got a tremendous amount of room to grow. We have this very significant descending type of pattern. Basically, it's a consistency where the price action has consistently made lower highs on the larger time frame. So until it can break back up above that, in other words, get all the way down over here, it's probably going to be a couple of months at least. I would say late July, early August would be a better case scenario for us to naturally break above that, and that's only if we go sideways. If we do go up and over, of course, we'll have to retest that level. But we keep getting rejected at that point, and you can kind of see here, of course, that it's just a constant downtrend. Okay, so until we can break that downtrend, there's no reason to get excited about a potential swing to the upside. Okay, so again, take long positions with caution. Make sure they're tight profit targets and stop losses, but actually loose stop loss, tight profit targets, based on the way that things are moving right now. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at for the 4-hour, but we are back up over 30 on the RSI, and you can see that 30 did work as a potential support here recently, where it bounced off this level here, right at 21,000. So to me, 21,000 is working itself as a support level. Even though we do have these couple of candle wicks down, you can see the first time it bottomed out was 21, and the second time it bottomed out is 21. So you could argue that this may be a potential double bottom. All right, a little premature to anticipate, of course, and you prefer to have those double bottoms on larger time frames, but the 4-hour could very well be kind of forecasting that for us. All right, so again, continue to add your position. 21,000 for Bitcoin is still a great value. That's just kind of the bottom line. 10 years from now, we're going to wish we'd done this, okay? So please, please, please invest what you can comfortably into this price point. We shouldn't see anything tremendously lower. Once again, 14,000 is potential, but we got to lose 20,000 as a support level first. And the great chance here is that we're going to stay pretty consistent in the range of 20 to 24,000 for the next couple of weeks at least. So I would say that we're going to probably be range bound and then potentially break to the upside, or depending on the fundamental catalyst, maybe break down again. You never truly know what the next Fed meeting's in July. could be another deal buster, right? Or whatever term you want to use, it's going to change the momentum. Okay, so things just happen right now at an extreme rate because we have a large amount of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I think the Fed meter's down to like 6, 7, or 8 right now. It's extremely low. So, disadvantageous in the sense of any type of profitable gains you're going to see. So be careful taking trades on, altcoins right now too, because they're all getting fairly hammered and they're down about 10% when Bitcoin's only down about 3% on the day. Again, different strokes, different scenarios, but generally speaking, that's kind of where we're at. Looking at the 1 hour though, we can kind of see that we're still stuck under the cloud. We kind of got rejected by the cloud. We traveled into it and down below. So good news is the lagging spans intersect with the price action, so we really have no I wouldn't say no reason, but the potential for taking a short right now is not ideal. It's not a good situation. I mean, taking a short obviously when it hit this rejection point would have been a good call. I know hindsight is 20/20 and we can't go back, but those are things you want to try to look for. But again, it wasn't giving us a significant buy signal. And if you want to be conservative, which the Ichimoku cloud is a conservative indicator, I prefer to use this. You want to be above the cloud before you take entry. So again, here in the next few hours, we might actually get a break above. Keep this in mind too, though. Bitcoin being above the cloud doesn't mean it's just going to take off. We want to have full-on confirmation. A lot of times you'll see false positives where the price action will break above and get rejected. So I would wait at least 2 or 3 hours for confirmation before the price action, breaks above and stays above and effectively, puts you in a position where you can feel comfortable with that trade. That's more so confirmation. To me, you want to wait at least 2 or 3 candlesticks, depending on the time frame you're using, right? So generally speaking, that's where we're at there. And if we look at TD sequential, we see we came down to a 9, got another reset, but previously up to an 8. So, Bitcoin is hitting these patterns here. We're hitting 8s and 9s pretty consistently. So really just implying that at this point, with this being a 1, there's a strong potential we're going to come up to a 9 again and either reject at 23,000 or short squeeze our way through it. Okay, so there's a handful of different things that could happen, but just be cautious and careful and make sure that you are position sizing effectively. We're taking trades right now, and we took a long position day before yesterday, and we took profits last night, roughly 50%. And what was nice about that is the fact that we had small profit or tighter profit targets, so we were able to hit our target as well right at 23,000. But more importantly, we had small position sizes, so with the remaining 40% of our position that's open, we're still having the potential of hitting that target without getting stopped out because we have a trailing stop loss that adjusts at target 2. Again, little things you can build into these trading bots that are very helpful and beneficial. We use Cornix, of course, in our community here. When I send out my signals, that's kind of an option to follow those trades. That's all part of my trading community. So check that out, of course, in your own time. That's something that you could definitely benefit from. But what I'm getting at here is the simple fact that we're using tight profit targets and making sure that we take profit at least 60% or more on our first target. That way, the price reverses on you. That last 40% you have invested doesn't go, it's not all for nothing, all right? So again, it's definitely beneficial. There's different ways you can kind of structure your trades. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at here for now. I would say expect 20 to 24,000 as a range. 21 to 23 is the immediate range. And I would say that with us being at an exhaustive state to the downside, 20,000 / 21,000 working as a support level, the likelihood of the price action going up from here is fairly high. Now, how high can it go? It's hard to say. Likely rejection at 23,000 once more, but if we break through that, we could very well see that double bottom on the 4-hour continue to fulfill its destiny, whatever that is, right? Anyways, we'll bridge that gap when we get there. For now, try to be just cautious and careful, and make sure you be mindful of your position sizes. That's really the important thing right now. It's more so like what I like to consider in this bearish market is it's surviving. We're surviving right now, not thriving. Right? I mean, obviously some of the shorts that we've taken, we've done pretty well, but that doesn't really, you shouldn't be making a ton of money on shorts personally. I prefer to go long and put my investment in more spot regular exchanges rather than futures. So again, different strokes for different folks there, but generally speaking here, I would say that you want to just be cautious and careful as per usual. Don't trust Bitcoin just yet. It's still kind of a naughty Nelly here. It's not really doing so well. All right, so either way, that's where we're at. Hope you learned something here today. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I look forward to working with you, your family, whomever else. Thank you to all my current community members as well as the referrals I've been getting recently as well. Greatly appreciate that and the opportunity to help you out. I love it. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.